I'll be back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. And this time, I'm going to do a movie that is more known than probably any of the other ones I've already made so far. And this is The Terminator. The Terminator was a film that came out back in 1984 by director James Cameron, and this is technically often looked at as James Cameron's true directorial effort. A lot of people know that, yes, he did Piranha 2: The Spawning. His name was on the directing credit, but James Cameron still considers The Terminator his first true directorial effort. And for many people, we agree too. Terminator probably needs no introduction for many people since this is a more well-known movie, like I said, than any of the other films I've reviewed so far. Basically, in the present time, in 1984, a cyborg called the Terminator is sent back in time to hunt down and kill Sarah Connor, whose unborn child will be the leader of the resistance in the far future, where the machines have taken over and have annihilated most of humanity and enslaved the rest of it until a resistance shows up and fights back. And in order to counteract the Terminator, the resistance sends back in time a warrior fighter, Kyle Reese, who ultimately is sent to find and protect Sarah from this unstoppable machine any way he can. And in the process, ends up falling in love with her. So basically, that is the story in a nutshell. Of course, the film is literally a combination of plenty genres. I mean, we got science fiction, we got action, which, by the way, the action in the movie is relentless. Anytime it kicks on, it's almost nonstop. And yeah, there are a couple parts of the movie where it tends to drag a bit, but that's only to help the story move along, which honestly works perfectly. So as I said, it's science fiction. It's like a perfect blend of almost all the big genres, like science fiction, action, even has film noir elements, and it even acts like a romance film too because of the scenes with Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor as they interact with each other. And also it even has the aspirations of a horror film because, I mean, you got an innocent woman being hunted down by an unstoppable killing machine, and it will do no matter what it takes to get to her and end her life. So it has all those elements put together in one movie. And with the science fiction concept, you got a cyborg disguised as a man, and of course, you also have time travel, which, the only time it ever occurs in the movie is right when both characters show up in the present day. So honestly, this movie was just put together so perfectly. And now even with 5 sequels that have been made since, this is still considered by many to be the best film in the franchise. I mean, usually it's the first one is always the best, but for me, I definitely would have to say the sequel is better. But again, that's a personal preference. So, although Arnold Schwarzenegger had been in a big movie prior to the Terminator, I mean, he was in Conan the Barbarian, which came out in 1982, a couple years before the Terminator did. But Arnold, his performance as Conan, while unfortunately it did not receive the critical praise, but the Terminator, on the other hand, he was adored by critics and fans for his role as the Terminator. He was adored by critics because everybody was like, well, he didn't speak as much. Well, the thing is, his presence and his acting alone, sometimes actions, not words, speak more on screen than anything else, and his performance outside of speaking was flawless. He just, every moment he had on screen, he just commanded the screen, literally. And ultimately, and it's funny because originally Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually not going to be the Terminator. At one point, they considered fellow actor Lance Henriksen, who appears in the film, to be the Terminator because he actually has a bit more of a menacing appearance than Arnold does. And at one point, they even considered, believe it or not, O.J. Simpson to play the Terminator. And they thought, yeah, we can't cast him. He's too nice of a guy. Well, nice. Yeah, uh-huh. And when Arnold read the script, he ultimately thought that, "Ooh, I should play the Terminator because I kind of like that role better." And Cameron was like, "Okay, yeah, we'll see how that works." And ultimately ended up getting Michael Biehn to play Kyle Reese instead, and of course getting Linda Hamilton to play Sarah Connor. And this movie pretty much made stars of all three of the obviously made a star out of Arnold Schwarzenegger due to his due to his performance, which received rave reviews by critics. Although, yeah, Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton both did go on to appear in numerous films after The Terminator. Michael Biehn even got to work with James Cameron yet again on Aliens, The Abyss, and had a deleted scene which is available, which can be seen in the extended version for Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Linda Hamilton would go on to work with Cameron again on Terminator 2 and would eventually marry him. She would eventually marry the guy for a few years. Brad Fiedel, who scored the film, literally made probably one of the most famous film scores ever for any science fiction movie or for any film for that matter. And of course, I think his score for Terminator 2 was basically excelled even further, literally, because it's like much of the music you hear in the Terminator is really synthetic, but for a lot of them, it's basically whenever you hear that famous metal beat sounding for the opening music, it's basically him taking a mic and banging it against a frying pan, and that's really how they came up with the music for the term. That's how they came up with the famous metal beat sounding for that. And of course, the film was a hit when it debuted. It was made on a budget of $6.5 million, which again, Cameron was known for. Well, he's a Roger Corman alumni, as I've mentioned in my earlier videos, and the movie was an enormous hit when it debuted. Well, it grossed $38 million domestically against a $6.5 million budget. Worldwide, it made about $78 million. So the movie was an extremely profitable hit for when it debuted. And of course, the movie was met with loads of critical reception. I want to say on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a near perfect 100%. I think it does. I'm not sure if it does anymore, but it is like I would dare say it's a perfectly flawless movie. But then again, there are some people that criticize the film for being too violent, but honestly, it holds up very well. I don't think this movie has aged pretty well over time, though some of the special effects work in the film hasn't aged well, but the stuff that has aged well, however, is like the Terminator effects that you see in the movie, and there are parts where he you see him cut his arm open to reveal not flesh and bone, but actual you see metal insides, metal gears, and metal wires that maneuver the hands. You see him do that. And there's a part where he removes his eye to reveal instead of a black hole, you basically see the the eye of the machine itself. But again, the special effects at the time wowed people, and James Cameron had become notorious for doing visual effects in films that constantly wow people with each new film he makes, and it would be a trend he continues still to this very day. So even though the movie was a hit when it came out, and even to this day, it's still a big hit, and it's still considered a fantastic entry in the science fiction genre. At the Saturn Awards, it picked up at least 8 nominations, and it walked away with 3, winning for writing. It won for makeup. It won for its makeup effects. It won for writing, and it also won for best. It was voted best science fiction film of 1984 or 85, because 85 is when they did the awards. So yeah, The Terminator was voted best science fiction film of that year, and honestly, good choice too. Very good choice. So yeah. All right, let's talk about the Blu-ray release. So for the Terminator, this is the Blu-ray released by MGM. This is I believe the Blu-ray came out in 2012, and this is a digitally remastered version of the film. The Terminator had been released on home video countless times. There was a release on VHS either by HBO Canon Video or by Thorn MI Video. That's actually the first time I saw the Terminator. When I was little, my grandfather actually owned a VHS store, and one of the VHS titles I saw there was the Terminator, but hard to believe, the sequel actually caught my attention more. So yes, I actually saw the second movie before I saw the first one. Sometimes that happens, but yeah, the sequel caught my attention more, and then I found the first one. I'm like, oh, I didn't. Now, at the time as a kid, I didn't even know there was a first movie, because, you know, as a kid, I didn't know better, but now I know. So, the Terminator, yes, I eventually watched it, and yeah. So anyway, the Terminator has been released on DVD by MGM, and then eventually there was a first Blu-ray that came out in 2006 that had a fairly decent picture quality, but knowing it could have been better. Until finally in 2012, MGM decided to give the film a complete digital remaster. And I believe James Cameron was involved in some way with the restoration of the movie. And it shows up very well. So for the video quality, the movie, this new Blu-ray looks amazing. Oh man, it looks beautiful. Yeah, there's yeah. So, yeah, the video quality on the disc is fantastic. It's sharp, it's flawless, there's plenty of detail that even I didn't even notice in any of the previous versions, so honestly, I really can't complain. This is without a doubt the best the Terminator has ever looked. Now, there are different flavors of this new Blu-ray. There's a Blu-ray case that's red. It actually shows like the shot of the Terminator first arriving in the present time. It's the same exact disc, but like I said, the artwork on the Blu-ray cover is a little different. But this artwork is actually pretty good. I like this. It's different than the one that's on the original theatrical poster art, but still, it fits the movie perfectly. So for the video, out of 5 stars, I'd have to give it a solid 5. That's how good this looks in high def. As for the audio, once again, it's pulse pounding, to say the least. It's really good. Now, the only awkward thing is that the original Blu-ray release of the Terminator actually came with the original mono track, which, by the way, this new Blu-ray, unfortunately, does not have. Sometimes it is nice where they actually include the original theatrical release track along with a brand new recorded DTS 5.1 track. I shouldn't say newly recorded, but like I said, they took the mono track and they just up-converted it into DTS 5.1, so they also added new sound effects, which, by the way, the 5.1 track was from the special edition DVD by MGM that came out back in 2001. And the DVD also contained the original mono track, too. And as I said, the 2006 Blu-ray release, not this one, but the one that came before it, also had the original mono track. And also, the 2006 Blu-ray release was available as a special Digibook edition, which, Digibook, if anybody remember watching my Wizards video, that's what a Digibook Blu-ray is. So it comes with like a book that has pictures and artwork and text information about the movie. So for the audio, out of 5 stars, I give it a 4.5. Almost a 5, because that's how good the audio sounds. As for the bonus features, well, this is where I'm kind of upset with this release. Because when it comes to extras, this is all we get. Just 7 deleted scenes and 2 featurettes on the making of the film, creating the Terminator, visual effects and magic, and Terminator a retrospective. That's all there is. Which is so disappointing because the special edition DVD release, on the other hand, actually has plenty of extras. You can see here, there's the Blu-ray, and this DVD I have here is the original special edition release in 2001, and it's a flipper disc. Hard to believe. I don't know why it's like that, because the movie's on one side and the bonus features are on the other. And the DVD for the Terminator actually does come with a wealth of information on the. Sorry, I just dropped it. Like I said, I'm only using one hand to carry the, there we go. The DVD actually comes with a wealth of material on the making of the film. Way more stuff, like a couple more documentaries and featurettes that talk about the making of the film. And I was thinking, you know, with MGM, since they own the rights to not only the DVD but the Blu-ray, I wonder why they didn't include all the extras from the DVD onto the Blu-ray. That's why I'm hoping for, if the Terminator ever does get another release soon, well, 2024 will be the 40th anniversary for this film. Hopefully, Shell Factory or another company out there will pick this one up and give it the proper special edition release that it rightfully deserves. It also would be nice if James Cameron could do an audio commentary for his movie. He didn't do one for the Terminator, but he did do commentary for Terminator 2. So the extras on the disc here, out of 5 stars, I would give it a 2. As for the DVD, I would definitely give the DVD a 4 for the extras, since the DVD has a wealth of material. Like I said, it's a flipper disc. The movie's on one side. Some of the extras are on the movie disc, on the movie side. But if you really want the bulk of the material, you have to flip the disc over to watch the bonus features. So, out of 5 stars for the Terminator, I would probably give it a solid 5. That's how good of a movie it is. It was a big hit when it came out. It's still a big hit to this day. It actually made stars out of all 3 of its main actors. James Cameron's directing is flawless. The score is so memorable. Although the sequel, honestly, the music in the sequel, I think, was better. But again, it all had to start somewhere. And yes, many people, yes, James Cameron still to this day considers this movie his personal directorial effort. Although, yeah, like I said, he in the recent years has admitted finally that Piranha 2: The Spawning was another film he made. But for many people, his film career really started. His film career really took off with the Terminator, and honestly, he's one filmmaker that really has reached for the sky and became a true king of the world when it comes to filmmaking. He has wowed people back then, and he's still continuing to wow people to this day. So to James Cameron, bravo! I salute you. So, this concludes the presentation. I hope you enjoy it, and hope you look forward to watching any new videos that I'll be putting out soon, which I will not stop. So until then, take care and be safe. Bye-bye.